Did you know that the Demon Slayer series could have ended in episode 1? Muzan's greatest mistake was leaving Nezuko for dead in the Kamado household. However, what would happen if Muzan realized her potential and made her join the dark side? How would the entire Demon Slayer series change with Tanjiro not lugging around a suitcase the whole show? The beginning will remain the same, with Muzan showing up at the Kamado household and hysterically slaughtering the whole family. The Kamado family was just one of his usual experiments of trying to give his blood to random humans and make them demons, all in the hope that one of them would have the ability to withstand sunlight. After massacring the entire family, Muzan will hang around for a bit, just to realize that one of the family members, specifically Nezuko, is acting quite differently compared to all of the other demons he has converted. He will sense some sort of potential through the connection he has with Nezuko via his blood. After discovering that Nezuko could potentially become one of the strongest demons, Muzan's reaction will be different. Instead of leaving her alone at the scene this time, he will kidnap her and take her with him to the Infinity Castle. If this were in the real world, the FBI would already be chasing the heck out of him. Anyway, there, he will infuse even more blood into her just to see where it will lead. As suspected, Nezuko will continue to grow strong. The blood won't disintegrate her or harm her in any way. Instead, she will feed off of. Because of this huge infusion of blood, Nezuko will lose her memories and even her humanity. She will become a full-fledged demon with a whole new personality. While all of this is happening, Tanjiro will return to his household, where he will find all of his family members lying dead on the ground. He will realize that Nezuko is missing from the bunch, and there are blood trails leading out of the house. Along with the blood trail, he will also smell a strange scent, the smell of Muzan's blood. This scent will send shivers down his spine, but it will also relieve him, knowing that Nezuko was potentially abducted by this guy instead of being killed. He will follow the trails, hoping to find them nearby, but before he can make any progress, a snowstorm will take him by surprise. He will get lost during the storm and will be stranded even farther from the house. That's when he will take cover in a cave and wait for the snowstorm to pass. Due to the extreme weather, his sense of smell will be useless. All of these scenarios will leave him devastated and lonely, with nowhere to turn. But it isn't over yet. While he is stranded away from the house, Giyu will arrive at the scene. He'll notice that he is late and will just take a look at what happened to find any traces of the demon, then leave the scene. Now, with no recommendation from Giyu and unsure about what to do, how do you think Tanjiro will proceed from there? There is no way he could live a normal life after what he went through, and not to mention, his primary goal will be completely different now. You see, in the original timeline, despite this catastrophic occurrence, Tanjiro had some options he could take. With his sister by his side as his sole motivation, he had the courage to go on regardless of everything. But this time, things will be different. His goal will shift from turning Nezuko into a human to finding her. So, after the snowstorm ends, Tanjiro will move from the cave to continue his search for his sister. He'll wander around to find any hints of her location. This is when he will come across a guy bearing a sword, a demon slayer to say, but Tanjiro doesn't know this yet. Tanjiro, in this timeline, still doesn't know who a demon slayer. Unsure about the individual in front of him, Tanjiro will approach him, wanting to get any help he can. While he is walking towards the guy, a boar monster with a human-like demeanor will ambush guy. It will knock him unconscious and steal the swords from him, and it just straight up runs away. This is when Tanjiro will shift his focus from the demon slayer and instead chase the boar monster. He'll be curious as to what that thing really is, and if it could be the one that unalived his entire family. After chasing it down, both of them start a fight. This is when Tanjiro will come to realize that the thing he is following is actually a human in a boar mask, which would undoubtedly make him a little bit confused, because who wouldn't be? Both of them will face each other for quite some time. Tanjiro will have his axe with him that will help him fight back. As it dragged on, Tanjiro realized that Inosuke could be the one to murder his family, because the bodies he saw didn't have any slice marks, and neither did the smell match the one he smelled at his house. After fighting each other for a long time, Tanjiro will be able to win it out by headbutting the boar man thing. After finishing the fight, Tanjiro will drag him back so he can apologize to the individual he stole the sword. But by the time they get back, they will see that the demon slayer was getting eaten alive by a demon. This is the first time both of them would have encountered it. Hence, they will be terrified at first, but instinctively, they will both know that they have to get rid of him right there and then. Hence, both of them wielding their own sword and axe will face the demon. By jumping him in classic tag team fashion, they will be able to easily cut him down, but it won't lead the fight anywhere, as the demon will keep on regenerating. That's why they will tie him up for the time being and stop him from regenerating. While restraining him, Inosuke will use his sword to cut down the demon's head, which will ultimately finish it off, disintegrating the demon in front of them. This fight was an important moment for all of them. Because of their little fight, a random person lost their life. Tanjiro buried the demon slayer's body and paid respects to him. This is where Inosuke started to develop an admiration for Tanjiro, especially since he saw how strong he was. Both exchanged names, but Inosuke was too proud for a handshake. Moving forward, as it was getting pretty late, Inosuke took Tanjiro to his cave with him, where they spent the rest of the night. Tanjiro told Inosuke about his situation, and for the first time, the wild beast was actually paying attention to someone's conversation and not being annoying. As the day comes to pass, Tanjiro says that he wants to go back to his house. Inosuke, who was starting to empathize with Tanjiro, asks to join him because he wanted to fight more demons. Both of them go back to Tanjiro's house. The scene Inosuke sees there terrifies him beyond anything he could imagine. He couldn't think of what Tanjiro went through and how he he was still standing strong despite all of this. After checking the surroundings and finding nothing related to Nezuko, both of them bury his dead family. Tanjiro states that he will definitely rescue Nezuko from whoever kidnapped her, no matter how scary they are. Inosuke remarks by telling him that he needs to get stronger if they want that to happen, and eventually, they both start to train together in the mountain using the swords they got in the demons. As we all know, Inosuke already used to train intensive, which is why he was able to unlock his beast breathing technique. He will also get Tanjiro to train with him, and this extreme training routine will eventually lead to both of them unlocking their own breathing style. But remember, Inosuke only has one sword since Tanjiro has the other one, so there could be some changes here. Inosuke will still unlock beast breathing, but with some minor changes to accommodate his one sword, but Tanjiro will unlock a new kind of breathing technique called blaze breathing. This breathing will be an imperfect version of the sun breathing technique, which he would have developed unconsciously. Both of them would use these breathing techniques to defeat any demon that enters the mountain, and this is how they will also grow a whole lot stronger. One day, they come across a commotion in a nearby forest. It seems like kids are being abducted by demons lurking in a mansion nearby. Both Inosuke and Tanjiro head out to take care of the situation. This is where they will first come across Zenitsu, who is a demon slayer sent alone to take care of the demon. He will be standing outside, scared and terrified, acting like a normal Zenitsu. Yeah, that's just his default setting. Inosuke will be disappointed in him, but Tanjiro will sense that he is actually strong and only acts that way. All three of them will venture inside the mansion, and the rest of the scenario will proceed the same way as in the original timeline. The only difference will be that the fight with Kyogai will be much easier, as both Inosuke and Tanjiro are now stronger than they were supposed to be at this point. While all of this is happening, on the other side, Nezuko wakes up from her slumber and transforms into a pure demon. After receiving a huge amount of blood from Muzan, she was also fed human meat. This caused her to drift even further away from humanity. Now, she is building her own reputation as a demon. It turns out she was able to defeat around 30 demon slayers all alone, 2 of whom were on the level of a Hashira, basically the ones before the current roster of Hashira. After unlocking her blood demon art and growing stronger, she will challenge Akaza for the Upper Moon 3 spot. Akaza, who is also bothered by the fact that Muzan values her so dearly, will want to see just what makes her special. An intense and long fight will take place, and both of them will have near instant regeneration ability. The only thing lacking from Nezuko will be battle experience, but her blood demon art will help bridge the gap. The pyrokinesis blood demon art will suppress Akaza's regeneration, which will cause him a lot of problems. Because of this, he will lose the fight in the long run, and Nezuko will come out on top. And I mean, she'll just not kill him because Muzan emphasized that Akaza was still a powerful tool. Surprised by her display of power, Muzan will give her the Upper Moon 3 spot. Akaza will move down to the Upper Moon 4 spot, and the Upper Moon 6 siblings will be demoted to Lower Moon 1. Nezuko was slowly becoming Muzan's favorite, so to finally test her strength, Muzan will send her to the mountains where Inosuke and Tanjiro are. The reason will be to stop the threat that has been killing off all the demons. She will accept the mission and head out for the mountains where it all began. After reaching the mountains and holding on for a moment, Nezuko is attacked by Inosuke, who before long will also involve Tanjiro in the fight. This is when Tanjiro will notice Nezuko and reach out to her. As you may already know, Nezuko had lost her memories at this time and only had an ounce of humanity left in herself, so this battle was going to be a bit hard for the demon slayers to handle. With no reaction from Nezuko and her acting just like a pure demon, Tanjiro seems to lose hope, and Inosuke tells him that he has already lost his sister and that he might as well just give her a good burial. Tanjiro, now fully resolved, heads back into the fight. The emotional fight between siblings lasts quite some time. Tanjiro still tries his hardest to bring in words to make Nezuko aware, but his talk no jutsu is just not working. Just when all hope seems lost and Nezuko is going to defeat Tanjiro, a part of her regains humanity. She starts getting her consciousness back and stops in her tracks. In the meantime, Inosuke jumps in to save Tanjiro from her. She comes to realize something is wrong with her and decides to retreat from the scene. Once she gets back to Infinity Castle, she notices that Muzan is quite disappointed in her. She wants his recognition, so to redeem herself, she says that something like this won't happen again. She will personally kill the guy with Hanafuda earring, even if he is her brother. Muzan will allow it, but says he won't accept any failures next time. Hence, he orders her not to go to the mountain again alone, but instead wait for an opportunity to take care of the human. After this confrontation, Tanjiro is devastated by what happened to his sister. But after seeing her struggle, he thinks she can regain her humanity. Therefore, his goal now shifts back to finding a way to turn her into a human. Despite all of this, he will feel quite powerless. He will want to get stronger, but he doesn't know how to do it by himself. This is when Inosuke and Tanjiro will receive a messenger from the Demon Slayer. This individual will be dressed just like Zenitsu, and after hearing about the details that the Demon Slayer Corps have been following their activities on the mountain, they want to invite both of them to join the Corps and help them take care of demons. After hearing this, both of them willingly choose to join the Demon Slayer Corps, thinking that they might be able to find more leads about his sister there and also possibly grow stronger. After joining the Demon Slayer Corps, Tanjiro will be given his crow and his new sword. The messenger will teach them the basics of what a Demon Slayer is and how the breathing techniques work. Tanjiro will closely listen to all this, while Inosuke will just be himself for the time being, doing Inosuke things. Before long, both of them will receive their first mission to help clear the demon on Mount Natagumo. From here, the story will mostly follow the original timeline. The Tanjiro squad will be reformed as Zenitsu will be back with them in this arc. Their dynamic will be quite different compared to the original timeline. Seeing how Nezuko is not with them, the party might lose some of its joy, but they will still be the same old Tanjiro squad they always. Most of the arc will follow the original timeline. The only difference being that Inosuke and Tanjiro will be much more reliable. Tanjiro will be holding his own against Rui, possibly even overwhelming him. Even without Nezuko, he will be strong enough to handle a lower moon all by himself. And especially after unlocking Hinokami Kagura, aka Blaze breathing under extreme conditions, he will be unstoppable. Still, Tanjiro won't be fully invincible. If he messes up, he will be on the verge of death, and that's when Giyu will jump in to save him. This is when Tanjiro will come to realize the presence of Hashira. For the first time, he will see a demon slayer with absolute strength. After seeing this, he will want to get strong just like him, which is why he will ask Giyu to train him. But to his surprise, Giyu will just decline his offer and go about his own merry way. While this is happening, on the other hand, Nezuko will once again traverse the mountains on her own in hopes of finding Inosuke and Tanjiro again. Despite Muzan telling her not to, she wanted to show him that she could be trusted. But unfortunately for her, they would have already departed before she came. She then comes across her own home while in the mount. This leaves a long impression on her and confuses her at the same time, as she would have felt reminiscent while being at that place. Though she wouldn't have remembered anything yet, she would have gotten the idea that the way Tanjiro was acting, he was someone important. The Mugen Train arc also won't be any different, except for the final part where the Tanjiro squad and Rengoku will encounter Akaza. After defeating Enmu together, they will still face the same situation where the train crashes and they have to save everyone. Akaza will arrive at the scene, and most of the story will follow the same pattern until Akaza becomes aware of Tanjiro's presence. With his enhanced senses, he will instantly notice that Tanjiro is actually the sibling of the demon who embarrassed him in front of Muzan. He will quickly switch his target from Rengoku to Tanjiro. The Tanjiro squad won't be too weak this time, as they are a lot stronger than they were ever supposed to. This will help them hold their ground against Akaza for a bit. All of them will duke it out for quite some time before the sunrise, especially since Tanjiro distracted Akaza so much. Perhaps the biggest change here is that Rengoku will thankfully survive the encounter. They will be able to get out of the Mugen Train arc without any major death. However, Akaza would also live to see another day. While this arc is take place, Nezuko would have defeated and eaten even more human. In this short period of time, she would have gone on a rampage, killing any human that appeared in her sight. The blood she received from Muzan would have made her go crazy enough that she wouldn't think about any consequences before killing someone. She would have just become a wild, feral, pure demon that wants to become stronger. After the Mugen Train arc, Tanjiro will ask Rengoku to teach him. Rengoku, who has already noticed Tanjiro's potential and sees that he has quite a similar breathing style, will accept Tanjiro as a student. Inosuke and Zenitsu will also want to grow stronger, so all three of them will train under Rengoku. But before that, all of them will head towards the Demon Slayer HQ, where Rengoku will submit his report while Tanjiro and the rest recover under Aoi. During their recovery, they will encounter Uzui in the same manner as in the original time. They will still be forced to go to the entertainment district with him. Now, this will be a difficult arc to handle without the presence of Nezuko, as she played a vital role in providing support to all of them. The confrontation between the Upper Moon 6 siblings and the Tanjiro squad will be extremely challenging. Tanjiro and Uzui will similarly face Gyutaro, while Inosuke and Zenitsu will face Daki. The fight will be mostly equal, with all of them trading blows with each other. But the siblings will still have an advantage due to their regenerative ability. Without Nezuko, it will be difficult for them to overcome this scenario. Now that we're talking about Nezuko, what do you think she will be doing at this time? After growing even stronger and eating a lot more humans, there is a great likelihood that she will now challenge Doma for the Upper Moon 2 spot. She will want to take the top spot just to receive admiration from Muzan, someone she respects dearly in this day. So, while the fight between the Upper Moon 6 siblings and the Tanjiro squad is happening, Nezuko will be facing Doma, and it's going to be one heck of a battle. Fortunately, they will be able to handle the situation even without Nezuko on their side. Tanjiro will come closer to perfecting his blaze breathing into sun breathing, while Zenitsu and Inosuke will be growing much stronger in their own techniques as well. There is a high chance that Uzui might unlock his Demon Slayer mark in this battle along with Tanjiro, and they both will be able to take care of Gyutaro while working together. Similarly, Zenitsu and Inosuke are already strong enough to handle a dense Daki all by themselves. While they take care of this situation, on the demon side, Nezuko will be getting outmatched by Doma in every aspect. It turns out his blood demon art is more challenging for her than she could imagine. The fight won't go on for long before Nezuko eventually gives up. She will feel powerless for the first time and aim to get even stronger. After the fight in the entertainment district arc finishes, there is a chance that Uzui might lose his life. This is due to the poison Jutaro had placed inside him. And without Nezuko by their side to cure him with her blood pyrokinesis, Uzui won't be able to handle the poison and will pass away after relaying his parting words to his wives and the Tanjiro squad. The Tanjiro squad will go back to the Demon Slayer HQ after the arc, where each of them will receive their own individual missions except for Tanjiro, whose sword was broken. Now, do you think that the Swordsmith Village arc will take place this time around? They wouldn't have any direct orders from Muzan, since no Upper Moon has died. Muzan will just let this scenario slide. But despite receiving no orders from him, there is one guy dumb enough to move on his own, and yes, it's Gyoko. He will attack the Swordsmith Village by himself. He will want to show results to Muzan and receive more blood from him. This will cause him to launch an all-out attack on the Swordsmith Village on his own, which isn't really a great idea. You already know how the rest will turn out. Muichiro and Mitsuri, along with help from Tanjiro and Genya, will be able to promptly take care of the threat. The Upper Moon 4 will be easily defeated by the three together. There will be far fewer injuries and less destruction, which will save the village from its unprecedented fate like in the original timeline. Though this arc might prove to be relatively useless for the Demon Slayer Corps, it will completely backfire on them. Why, you ask? Well, you see, Muichiro and Mitsuri were able to unlock their Demon Slayer marks due to the intense life-threatening battles they had against their respective Upper Moons. Now that none of them will have undergone this development in this arc, there is a very high possibility that they won't be invited by Ubuyashiki for a meeting, and hence the Hashira training arc won't even take place. Another major plot that won't be observed in this timeline will be the presence of a demon who has conquered sunlight since Nezuko isn't here. Instead of the Hashira training arc, what can take place is a shorter scale training arc instigated by Rengoku. You know how Tanjiro had asked Rengoku to train him, but they never got the chance to do so? Rengoku will now start training the Tanjiro squad by himself, and he will also ask other Hashiras to give them their own bits. As the other Hashiras would have developed a liking for Tanjiro, they will definitely help him out. Due to the influence of this brief training arc, Hashiras will still be able to practice their coordination and also help the Tanjiro squad improve in all the areas they lack. Although not all the Hashiras will be present, the arc will still introduce us to most of them. One of the things that will leave a lasting emotional mark would be that Tanjiro will be inquiring with the Hashiras about a potential way to turn his sister back into a human. Though all the conversations will lead to no. Shinobu will be the only one comforting him, telling him that she has been working on developing such a way, but it hasn't been possible till now. This is also what will lead Tanjiro to finally perfect his blaze breathing into the sun breathing tech. As time passes, the Demon Slayer Corps will surely be able to locate the Infinity Castle. This is what will lead the story to its final stage. After learning about a place where Muzan could be present, the Corps will definitely make their move and strategize on how to take care of him. Because Nezuko didn't conquer the sun in this timeline, the possibility of an anti-Kibutsuji drug being developed will be really low, but a drug that will still substantially weaken Muzan will be developed by Shinobu instead. This means that instead of Muzan coming to the Ubuyashiki mansion, the Demon Slayers will take the fight to him. The Demon Slayer Corps will have the advantage of ambushing the demon's hideout. They will gather all the personnel they can and immediately strike the Infinity Castle. Once they enter the castle, Muzan will immediately know about the situation. Therefore, he will call back all of the Upper and Lower Moon demons to his side to help him take care of this ambush. Now, how do you think the fights will go? The Demon Slayers have an advantage in the number of forces, considering that Rengoku is still alive and the whole Tanjiro squad is still present. The demons would be at a disadvantage because they don't have any plans either. Nevertheless, the final battle will start between both parties in a very interesting position. Most of the fights will happen in the same manner as in the original time. Keeping in mind that Tanjiro is still present here, Demon Slayers will still be able to unlock the Demon Slayer. Under the command of Kuriya Ubuyashiki, the Demon Slayers will be swiftly taking care of all the demons that come into their sight. Of course, Nakame with her Biwa will still be an annoyance to them, and without the presence of Yushiro, it will be difficult for them to get the grasp of Infinity Castle. Therefore, it will be mostly a balanced fight for both of the teams. Most of the fights will go in a similar manner as compared to the original timeline. Shinobu, Kanao, and Inosuke will take care of Doma. Shinobu will still get absorbed by Doma, as that's the only way for Doma to intake her potent poison. Kanao and Inosuke will be able to take care of him all on their own. Giyu and Rengoku will be the ones to face Akaza this time. Both of them will unlock their Demon Slayer mark in this battle and will be able to beat him. Zenitsu will be facing Kaigaku again. Mitsuri and Obanai will take care of Nakame, while the rest of the Hashiras will again encounter Kokushibo and undergo the brutal clash. Han Tengu is the only demon that will be left around hanging free, but after other Upper Moons are defeated, they will be able to easily take care of him as well. Now, the only ones left around are Nezuko from the demon side and Tanjiro, and unexpectedly, fate will reunite them once again. Both the siblings will undergo a hellish battle. All the while, Tanjiro will be trying to get her back to her senses. She would be more devoid of emotions than ever because Muzan would be quite mad at all the losses he is experiencing. This influence will get to all the demons, and they will start acting out of their senses. With Nezuko not making any progress in getting her senses back, Tanjiro will decide to take her down. Note that Tanjiro at this state is strong enough to go on par with a Hashira in terms of swordplay. He has also perfected his sun-breathing technique, making him one of the strongest demon slayers out there. As Tanjiro goes in for the final strike, he remembers his family. He reminisces about what would have been if that tragedy hadn't struck them on that night. This causes him to hesitate for a moment, and unfortunately, Muzan arrives at the scene and saves Nezuko. But guess what? That last exchange of words from Tanjiro really did affect Nezuko. She starts gaining back her memories and remembers Tanjiro. Though she doesn't gain any of her humanity back, she still recognizes Tanjiro as her brother and Muzan as the one who killed her family. These memories make her conflicted, and she breaks out of Muzan's control. Muzan, who arrived to help Nezuko out, would instead be the one facing her anger. The tide will change, and the siblings will now be facing Muzan. While this encounter is going on, Nakame and all the other Upper Moon demons will be defeated, but the Hashiras will also have some casualties. This will cause the castle to collapse, and all of the remaining forces will be sent out into the open. Muzan, angered by the entire situation, will use his demon manipulation ability to summon all of the demons towards him. Nezuko will be unaffected by this ability, as she has already broken out of control. The only ones remaining to face Muzan will be the Tanjiro squad, Nezuko, Giyu, Rengoku, and Sanemi. All of them will be glad that Nezuko was able to regain her conscience. They will together face Muzan, overwhelming him with an endless stream of blows. But to their surprise, none of them will have a sure effect on Muzan, and the demons are slowly closing in. The only ones able to do something to Muzan will be the Kamado sibling. Nezuko's pyrokinesis, blood demon art, and Tanjiro's sun-breathing technique are the only lethal weapons they can use on Muzan. The remaining lower-ranked demon slayers and Hashiras will decide to create a perimeter and stop the demons from coming in and helping Muzan. But as time went on, they were falling one by one. The fight will last for quite some time before Nezuko will take a risky gamble to get blood on Muzan. This move will give Muzan a chance to get rid of Nezuko. In her last moments, she will be grateful to Tanjiro for making her remember who she was before she passed away. Tanjiro, devastated by this ending, will awaken his full potential. With the chance Nezuko created, he'll go in for the final attack and cut off Muzan's head in addition to the sunrise. A lot of losses will pile up from the Demon Slayer's side, but all in all, they will be able to take care of the Demon Lord and put an end to this misery. Make sure to subscribe and smash the like button for more Demon Slayer content.